Welcome, weary traveler. Is it true that even though you have laid your back down, the noise of the world is still echoing, preventing you from finding silence? I understand that feeling. The invisible burden on your shoulders is sometimes heavier than the body can bear. But I am here to tell you, you have done very well. Let go and listen to the gentlest invitation reserved just for you tonight. I know you've tried your best today. Rest by the fire with Jesus. In this moment, we are not alone. We will borrow the lens of King David, a great warrior who also once trembled before fear and betrayal, to find a healing remedy for our own modern anxieties. Before the fire is lit, take a second to hit subscribe and like on this video. It is not just about supporting the channel, but it is a way for you to make a commitment to yourself. I deserve peace. Now imagine you are taking off the heavy shoes of worry and leaving them outside the door. Step into this warm room. Take a deep breath. Exhale gently and let the healing journey begin. It is late. As you listen to these lines, perhaps the space around you has sunken into silence, but inside your mind, the storm has not yet subsided. Are you tossing and turning, not because of the city noise, but because of the echoes of lies, invisible arrows from misunderstanding, or most painful of all, the turning away of those you trusted most? Sleep becomes a luxury when trust is shattered. We often think the fiercest battlefield lies at the border, but King David, Israel's greatest warrior, showed us the bloodiest battlefield lies right in the heart, where wounds from betrayal bleed silently. In the modern world, we do not hold swords and spears, but we are attacked by slanderous emails, false rumors at the workplace, or sudden coldness from a soulmate. David tasted that feeling to the very bitter end. Open the pages of Psalm 55 and you will see an image of yourself. David did not cry out about a strange enemy. He was in pain because his attacker was his confidant. For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it. It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man my equal, my companion, my familiar friend. Psalm 55:12-13. Close your eyes and feel this resonance. Humans' greatest pain comes not from a direct attack, but from the collapse of expectations. When the one who shared bread, the one who shared deep secrets, who built dreams with us suddenly stands on the other side of the battle line, our worldview seems to collapse. That is the root cause of insomnia in many of us. Extreme insecurity. We are afraid to close our eyes because we feel there is no one left to trust, nowhere safe. But look at how David faced this darkness. He did not sink into hatred to poison his own sleep. Instead, he chose to name the pain. In modern psychotherapy, this is the first step of healing, validating the emotion. David did not pretend to be strong. He admitted, "My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me." Psalm 55:4. He allowed himself to tremble, allowed himself to be afraid. And right in that naked confession before the Creator, he found a way out. David's story in Psalm 35 portrays even more clearly the picture of a person besieged by slander. Have you ever felt that you did your best, lived kindly, but received baseless accusations in return? They repay me evil for good. My soul is bereft. Psalm 35:12. The bereavement David describes is the cold feeling of a person curled up under a blanket, wondering, why me? He had fasted, prayed, and worn sackcloth to share their pain when they were sick. but when he stumbled, they gathered in glee. This cruel contrast is poison to the nervous system. It activates the fight or flight mechanism, keeping adrenaline pumping into the blood, preventing melatonin, the sleep hormone, from being released. We lie there, rewinding the footage of betrayal, drafting response messages in our heads, and then deleting them. The mind becomes a noisy courtroom with no end. However, this is where David's spiritual therapy comes into effect. He did not seek revenge with his own hands. He did not let bitterness turn him into another version of the enemy. In Psalm 142, hiding in a dark cave, a perfect metaphor for the stifling bedroom of a depressed person, David cried out, "I pour out my complaint before him. I tell my trouble before him." Psalm 142:2. He poured out. He did not keep a single drop of bitterness in his heart. He transferred the case file to the Supreme Court, where God reigns. The therapeutic lesson here is emotional release. To have a good night's sleep, you must learn to pour out like David. Do not bring grievances to bed. Imagine every slander, every betrayal, as heavy stones pressing on your chest. And through the prayers in the Psalms, you are picking up each of those stones and placing them at the feet of the one who cares for your soul. You do not deny the truth that you are hurt, but you refuse the power of that wound over your sleep. Human betrayal is finite, but God's understanding is infinite. When you realize there is one who knows all truth, who knows your clean heart even when the whole world misunderstands, you will find a strange peace of mind. It is the peace of mind of a child, knowing that dad is holding their hand and no one can bully them anymore. David found sleep not because the enemy disappeared, but because he knew who was guarding him. In the darkness of betrayal, David lit the fire of reliance. He taught us that when people turn their backs, that is the moment we turn our faces toward the eternal light. Do not let the wrong actions of others rob you of your rightful peace. Let the prayers in Psalms 35, 55, and 142 seep into your subconscious, washing away the dregs of resentment, paving the way for a supernatural peace to flood in. And when the soul has been unburdened of the weight of resentment, when we have accepted that betrayal is part of this imperfect human life, we can begin to step into a deeper stage of healing, shifting from the state of a suffering victim to a proactively protected person. David did not just cry, he also knew how to activate his shield. As we shared in the previous part, after pouring out all the fragments of trust and the pain of betrayal at the feet of the Creator, a vast void will appear in your soul. But be careful. If that void is not filled with a solid assurance, fear will creep back in. Pouring out pain is not enough. You need a power to fill that gap. This is the moment King David teaches us the second important step in spiritual therapy, invoking divine justice. In the quiet, dark night, when you lie there, a feeling of weakness often invades. You feel naked before schemes, tiny before the giant pressures of work and relationships. Your mind begins to paint the worst-case scenarios. What if they keep attacking? What if my reputation is ruined? Right at this moment, let the authoritative prayer in Psalm 35 sound like a trumpet call, shattering the terrifying silence of the night. David does not ask God just to comfort him. He asks God to act like a general. Contend, O Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me. Take hold of shield and buckler, and rise for my help. Psalm 35, verse 1, 2. Visualize this majestic scene in your mind right now. Imagine the one who holds the universe rising from his throne, stepping to the side of your bed. He does not come empty-handed. He holds the shield and the buckler. He stands between you and the worries that surround you. Every poison-tipped arrow of anxiety, every malicious rumor, every invisible pressure must now face God's shield before they can touch even a single hair on your head. This visualization has a powerful therapeutic effect on insomnia. Psychologists call this the delegation of anxiety. When you try to fight invisible enemies in your mind by yourself, your brain has to maintain a state of high alert. But when you truly believe that there is a more powerful one taking hold of the shield on your behalf, the sympathetic nervous system receives a safety signal to lower the alert. You do not need to stand guard anymore, because the Great One is already guarding. David continues to lead us deeper into this reliance through Psalm 143. Sometimes the enemy not only attacks directly, but also sets traps. In modern life, that trap could be tricky contracts, dilemmas, or isolation at the workplace. You feel like you are walking in a fog, afraid that one wrong step will lead to an abyss. David also once felt his soul exhausted like that. For the enemy has pursued my soul. He has crushed my life to the ground. He has made me sit in darkness like those long dead. Psalm 143, fear 3. But listen to the response of faith right after. David did not struggle in despair. He shifted his attention from the trap to the guide. He prayed, "Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning, for in thee do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto thee." Psalm 143:8. This prayer is a wonderful sedative. Cause me to know the way. Please show me the path. This liberates you from the pressure of having to have all the answers right away. Many nights you cannot sleep because you are busy looking for solutions for tomorrow. But the Bible whispers to you, sleep. Tomorrow, when the sun rises, guidance will come along with His loving kindness. You do not need to solve the problems of a whole lifetime in just one night. God's protection includes Him holding the map of your life. He knows the way out of this maze, even when your eyes are closed. Moreover, in Psalm 55, David affirms a spectacular exchange of positions. When besieged, instead of letting anxiety erode his bones, he cast that burden onto God. Cast your burden on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. Psalm 55:22. The word cast here implies throwing strongly and decisively. Imagine you are holding the heavy rock of slander, of debt, of sickness, and using all your strength to throw it onto the shoulders of Christ. He is there to catch it. He is vast enough to carry the whole world. So what is your burden to Him? Protection here does not mean that trouble will disappear immediately like magic, but it is spiritual protection. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. He will not let the righteous be shaken. The outside world may shake. The company may restructure. Human hearts may change. But your soul, where it takes refuge in God, will be anchored firmly. You are like a house built on a rock. Storms only clean the glass windows, but cannot shake the foundation. When you imbue this mindset, sleep will come naturally, because you realize that this battle is no longer your lonely battle. Me versus the world, but God's battle, God versus the battle. You, the beloved child, have only one single duty right now. Nestle behind the Father's great back and rest. Let him put the enemy to shame and make them retreat, not by your bitter revenge, but by his righteousness and dazzling light. Tonight, as you pull up the blanket, whisper the words of Psalm 140. I know that the Lord will maintain the cause of the afflicted and will execute justice for the needy. Psalm 140:12. I know. That is the final affirmation. Not I hope or I wish, but I know. That certainty is the softest pillow for your stressed mind. And when the sound of swords and spears of the battle has been placed into the hands of Jehovah, when the surrounding space has been enveloped by divine protection, the noise of the war gradually fades away. What remains now is a sacred silence where your soul begins to feel hungry for something gentler, sweeter than victory. That is comfort and soothing. Now, when the shield and buckler have erected a safe fortress, let us walk together through the gates of that fortress into the inner garden, where there is no longer the sound of weapons clashing, but only the sound of trickling streams and green pastures, waiting to soothe the calloused wounds of the heart. After handing the battle shield into God's hands, I invite you to do one important thing. Exhale. Exhale all the remaining tension in your chest. You are safe now. There is no more sound of swords clashing. Now, let your mind be led away from that dusty battlefield, crossing an old but familiar wooden gate to step into a completely different space. This is the necessary silence, the refueling station for your exhausted soul. We are entering the scene of Psalm 23, the greatest therapeutic poem of all time. Perhaps you have heard it hundreds of times, but tonight, by this warm fire with Jesus, I want you to live in it, not just hear it. Imagine you are stepping barefoot onto a soft, cool carpet of grass. The scent of the earth after rain and the smell of wild grass rush into your sense of smell, awakening a primordial peace in your brain. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Let this sentence permeate every cell. I shall not want. In the modern world, we suffer insomnia because we always feel lacking. Lacking money, lacking time, lacking recognition, lacking love. That feeling of deficiency chases us even into our dreams. But here with the shepherd, you have enough. His presence is wholeness. You do not need to race anymore. David continues, He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. Do you notice the phrase, makes me lie down? Sometimes we are stubborn like sheep, too busy grazing, climbing and worrying to the point of exhaustion, refusing to rest. God, with boundless love, sometimes has to gently force us to lie down. This insomnia or fatigue, look at it from a different perspective. It may be His way of saying, my child, stop. Lie down here on this pasture and rest. And there are the still waters, not a roaring waterfall, not a crashing ocean, but a gentle stream drifting lazily. Listen to the murmuring water. It is washing away the chaotic thoughts in your head. Let your mind now become as still as that lake surface, reflecting the vast sky. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. Soul restoration does not come from finishing a to-do list, but from moments of absolute silence beside the living water. Drink in this peace. Let it soothe the thirst of anxiety. As your body begins to relax on that green grass, Another vague fear often creeps into the minds of insomniacs. But when I sleep, who will take care of me? If I let go, will everything collapse? We are stuck in a state of hypervigilance. We fear that if we do not stay awake to control things, the world will shatter. To decode this fear, David takes us to Psalm 121, a manifesto of absolute security. He looks up. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1-2. Help does not come from human calculations. It comes from the one who created this entire universe. And here is the strongest sleeping pill that the Bible offers you tonight. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121, 3-4. Reflect on the greatness of this promise. The one who keeps you never feels sleepy. He never naps. He has no office hours, no days off. On his shift, there are no mistakes. What does this mean for you right now? It means you can safely close your eyes. You can sleep because God is awake. You do not need to take turns guarding with God. He takes full responsibility for the night watch. Imagine Jesus sitting there by the fire, looking at you with gentle eyes as you drift off to sleep. He whispers, "Sleep, my child. I am here. I guard your breath. I guard your home. I guard even the loved ones you are worried about. Nothing can touch you without my permission." Psalm 121 continues to soothe. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. Psalm 121:5. He is the shade. Like an ancient tree spreading cool shade to protect the traveler from the scorching sun, God protects you from the harshness of life. Under the shadow of his wings, the temperature of anxiety drops, and the heart rate returns to a resting state. The combination of the cool stream of Psalm 23 and the steadfast watchful eyes of Psalm 121 creates a perfect safety cocoon. In this cocoon, your nervous system is allowed to turn off the alarm switch. You do not need to strain yourself to be a hero anymore. Here, you are just a small sheep, loved, led, and protected. A gentle, soothing sensation begins to spread from the top of your head, down to your shoulders, then down your arms and legs. That is the sign your body is accepting the invitation to rest. The green pasture is embracing your back. The stream is lulling you, and the eyes of the guardian are warming your soul. As this sweet peace begins to saturate you, as you feel deeply nourished and loved, a new strength, a strength that is not noisy but incredibly enduring, begins to germinate in your heart. You realize that this peace is not just an escape from reality, but it is the foundation for building an unshakable faith. We have been protected. We have been nourished. Now, from this position of absolute safety, we will look out at the outside world together, where the earth may be shaking and mountains falling into the sea, but with a completely different mindset. Not fear, but the triumph of one standing on the rock of ages. As your body has softened on the green grass of rest, and your mind has been cleansed by the still waters, you may ask yourself, will this peace last? What if the storm returns tomorrow? That is a question of reality. We do not use the Bible to escape harsh reality. We use it to equip ourselves with a sturdy spiritual framework, helping us stand firm right in the eye of the storm. Take a deep breath. Feel your chest filling with life. You are no longer a runaway. Now, in this state of sacred silence, Listen to the most majestic manifesto of safety from Psalm 46. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. Psalm 46, Ching 1-2. Visualize this dramatically contrasting image. Outside, the earth may be cracking, the mountains symbols of things that seem most solid like career, finance, fame may be collapsing into the roaring sea. The world may be in chaos. The news may be full of panic. But here, right in this refuge, you choose not to fear. Why? Not because you are naive, but because you are taking refuge in the one who is never shaken. The victory of tonight's sleep lies not in the outside world falling silent, but in your inner self remaining still, no matter how noisy the world is. That is the power of composure. King David, in his most perilous moments, found a secret place that enemies could not touch. He describes it in Psalm 91, the psalm likened to a bulletproof vest for the soul. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91, 1. The shelter of the Most High. Imagine you are entering an ancient fortress with towering walls built of solid rock. You go deep inside, into the innermost, safest place. There, the shadow of the Almighty covers you. When you are in someone's shadow, it means you must be very close to them. Close enough that his breath becomes the rhythm for your breath. Close enough that every arrow flying towards you will hit him first, not you. It is in the absolute safety of this fortress that you can utter the proud declaration of Psalm 62. For God alone my soul waits in silence. From him comes my salvation. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be greatly shaken. Psalm 62, 1-2. Pay attention to the phrase, I shall not be greatly shaken. David is very realistic. He does not say, I will never shake. We are human. We will still have moments of trembling before the wind and storm. But greatly shaken to the point of collapse is impossible, because your feet are standing on the rock. When the foundation is the rock, the house may shake, but it will never fall. Tonight, if anxiety about the future is trying to shake your bed, cling to this rock. Tell the fear, you can shake my emotions, but you cannot collapse my faith. And when you have found that steadfastness, let us look toward the horizon. The night may be long, the darkness may be thick, but there is an immutable law that David discovered after so many ups and downs, a law that brings ultimate hope in Psalm 30. For his anger is but for a moment, and his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. Psalm 35. This is one of the most beautiful Bible verses to heal depression and anxiety. Weeping may tarry for the night. View sadness, pain, and insomnia as a guest who tarries. This guest may be difficult, may be annoying, but he is just a guest. He is not the owner. He has no right to stay forever. He only stays for the night. You do not need to chase him away desperately. Let him stay there if needed, but know one thing for sure. He has a checkout time. When dawn breaks, joy will come. Joy is not trying to smile while in pain, but the relief when the storm passes. This promise helps us change our perspective on the night. The dark night is not an endless pit, but just a tunnel. And every tunnel has light at the end. Your current suffering is real, but it is temporary. God's favor is for a lifetime. In Psalm 18, after overcoming everything, David looked back and rejoiced. For by you I can run against a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall. Psalm 18:29. From a person hiding in a cave, trembling with fear, by relying on God, he became a person who could leap over a wall. That is the image of victory. Your sleep tonight is the preparation so that tomorrow you can leap over the wall blocking your way. You do not sleep to escape failure, but to recharge for the victory that will surely come tomorrow. Now, as your faith has been solidified like a rock, as you have realized that sadness is just a passing guest, and tomorrow will surely bring joy, your mind is fully ready for the final step. Nothing left to worry about, nothing left to guard, nothing left to fear. Everything has been set in place in the Almighty's plan. The gates of the fortress have closed safely. The fire in the hearth has died down, leaving a gentle warmth spreading throughout the room. It is time for us to perform the final act of faith of the day. Let go and sink deep into sleep with the most peaceful affirmation a human being can utter. Now, look at the campfire in your mind for the last time. The soaring flames from earlier have now subsided, leaving only the glowing embers, radiating a gentle and steady warmth. The crackling sound of the wood fades, giving way to the rhythmic breathing of the late night. Jesus is still sitting there. His presence is no longer the fierce protection of a warrior, but has now shifted to the stillness and silence of a guardian of sleep. Your body has now sunk deep into the soft mattress. Your eyes have closed, or if not, allow them to grow heavy. We are standing at the threshold of sleep, and the key to opening this door lies in Psalm 4, a classic evening prayer of King David. Listen, and let every single word become a command for your brain. In peace, I will both lie down and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4:8. This Bible verse contains a divine hypnotic power. David says, I will both lie down and sleep. Why both? Because there are so many of us who lie down but cannot sleep. We lie there to toss and turn, to worry, to scroll through our phones. But tonight, you will do both. The act of the body lying down will go hand in hand with the act of the soul sleeping peacefully. It is a commitment. Tell yourself right now, I lie down to sleep, not to worry. And the most important keyword here is in peace, not in fear, not in calculation. You enter sleep like a boat gently drifting into a windless harbor. Why can you do that? For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. The word alone casts aside all other dependencies. Your safety tonight does not depend on whether the doors are locked tight, how much is left in your bank account, or if your boss is happy tomorrow. Your safety depends solely on God. And because God is immutable, your safety is absolute. When you realize you are lying in the palm of God's hand, sleep will come as a natural reflex. Feel the relaxation spreading from the top of your head, down to your forehead, smoothing out the wrinkles of anxiety, down to your eyes, cheeks, and jaw. Loosen your tongue. Do not press it tight against the roof of your mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let the weight of your body sink deep into the mattress. You are being supported. You no longer need to tense up to hold yourself together. In Psalm 3, David wrote these lines while fleeing from his own son, Absalom. The situation was extremely dangerous. His life hung by a thread, but he uttered something extraordinary. I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. Psalm 33:5. This is the pinnacle of surrender. I lay down and slept. In the deep forest, surrounded by enemies, David still slept. This breaks every biological rule of survival. But he slept because he knew this secret. For the Lord sustained me. The word sustain here means to nourish, to maintain life, to support from below. When you sleep, you are completely helpless. You cannot defend yourself, cannot work, cannot consciously control your breathing. Sleep is the humblest act of a human being because in it we admit, I am not God. I need rest, and I trust that the world still turns, my heart still beats, and my lungs still breathe thanks to the grace of the Creator. Tonight, practice that humility. Hand over control of the universe, control of tomorrow to God. Turn off the switch of the executive brain. Tell your mind, your shift has ended. God is taking over. Now imagine Jesus approaching, gently covering you with a warm blanket woven of light and love. He leans close to your ear and whispers a blessing of peace. I am here. I know you tried your best today. What is unfinished, I will hold. What is broken, I will fix. What you fear, I will stand guard against. You are my beloved child, and I give you this sleep as a gift. Let your breathing become slower, deeper. Inhale peace. Exhale worry. Inhale God's promise. Exhale the burden of life. No more past, no more future. Only this gentle present moment. You are safe in the house on the rock. You are lying beside still waters. You are under the shadow of almighty wings. Silence covers everything. The final thoughts are dissolving like mist. Only softness remains. Only trust remains. I will both lie down in peace and sleep. I will both lie down in peace and sleep. Drift away into the land of peaceful dreams, where God waits to restore your strength for a new day. Good night. God keep you. Amen. We have just walked together through the valleys of fear and slander, where we learned to hand over the sword and spear to God. But my friend, laying down weapons is just the first step. Many of us, though, having left the battlefield, still have our minds clad in armor. We bring the tension, the vigilance, and the survival mode right into bed. That is why, even when no one is attacking, you still cannot sleep. Your body has laid down, but your soul is still standing guard. To truly enter therapeutic sleep, we need a radical shift in consciousness. From the position of someone trying to survive in ordinary life, returning to the position of a beloved sheep. And no one understands this shift better than King David. Before being a king holding a sword, he was a shepherd holding a staff. He thoroughly understood the vital relationship between the shepherd and the flock. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, listen to the gentlest invitation, the greatest manifesto to extinguish all the noise of lack in this era. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. Just one sentence, but it contains the key to unlock the chains of modern anxiety. Let me take you deep into the healing frequency of this statement. First, the Lord is my shepherd. In the modern world, we often proclaim ourselves as the CEO of our own life, the captain of our own fate. It sounds powerful, but also full of pressure. When you are your own master, you have to worry about everything: finance, health, future, risks. That burden is too great for shoulders made of flesh and bone, and it crushes your sleep. But when you utter, "The Lord is my shepherd," You are performing a sacred act of resignation. Tonight, you are no longer the one ultimately responsible for your little universe. You hand over the executive power to the Almighty. The shepherd is not a negligent manager. He knows the name of every sheep, knows the wound on your left leg, knows the sadness hidden in your heart. This relationship is personal. He is my shepherd, not just a strange deity up high. This intimacy is the first sedative. You are not alone in operating this life. And the second part, I shall not want. This is the antidote for the disease of scarcity mindset, the root cause of insomnia today. Why do we toss and turn? Because we fear lacking money, lacking time, lacking ability, lacking love, fear of being left behind. The voice in the head keeps replaying, not enough, I must do more, I must try harder. David, a man who experienced extreme deprivation while hiding in the wilderness, affirmed, I shall not want. This is not a delusion. This is contentment. When you have the Creator by your side, you already have the source of everything. Imagine your mind as a glass running dry, cracked by anxiety. This Bible verse pours into it a cool stream of sufficiency. Tonight, tell your racing brain, stop. We have God, and because we have God, we have enough. We do not need to run and hunt for anything in our dreams anymore. In psychotherapy, shifting from the state of need to the state of have helps lower cortisol levels. Instead of lying down with the thought, tomorrow I must make money, lie down with the thought, God is the provider, and He has never been unfaithful. This trust creates a precious breather. This breather is like stepping from a noisy, dusty street, slamming a thick wooden door shut, and suddenly all sounds fade away. Only the sound of the fireplace, the ticking clock, and the peaceful presence remain. You take off your business suit, take off your status, take off the sales pressure. You return to being a small, weak being, but absolutely safely protected. This shift does not happen immediately. It needs guidance, and David, with the experience of a shepherd, knew exactly what is needed next for a stressed sheep. It does not need to eat right away. It needs to be made to lie down. But a frightened sheep will never agree to lie down if it does not feel safe and is not led to the right place. Therefore, after redefining your identity, you're a sheep, God is the shepherd, and resetting your mindset, you are sufficient. Not lacking your mind has begun to soften. The tense muscles on your shoulders and neck begin to relax. You are ready to be led away from this cramped bedroom to step into a larger, greener therapeutic space where the true healing of nature and grace will touch every tired nerve cell of yours. Let my voice, blending with the ancient biblical words, gently lift your soul, taking you away from petty worries to a vast field where the concept of pressure does not exist. Imagine you are leaving the noisy city of endless thoughts, the high-rise buildings of work pressure, the traffic jams of worry. All are gradually receding behind your back. Before your eyes now opens a vast, immense space of gentle green. It is not a dream. It is an ancient invitation from Psalm 23, an invitation striking directly at the burning need for rest of the modern human nervous system. David writes, He makes me lie down in green pastures. Psalm 23:2. Pay attention to this powerful verb. He makes me lie down. Why didn't David say, He invites me, or He asks me? Because God knows our human nature better than anyone. Like stubborn sheep, We often fear stopping. We fear that if we lie down, we will be lazy, we will fall behind, or problems will catch up with us. We are swept into the wheel of busyness to the point of forgetting how to rest. Sometimes insomnia is the consequence of the brain having forgotten the off switch. But here, in this spiritual picture, the Good Shepherd is gently placing his hand on your shoulder. He does not force with violence, but with irresistible love, he says, "Enough, my child. Lie down here." Feel that right now. Imagine your body is touching green pastures. Let your senses be awakened. Feel the softness and smoothness of the grass supporting your spine. Feel the cool earth absorbing the sweltering heat of tension. The scent of wild grass, of morning dew, of primal life is creeping into your sense of smell, sending a safety signal to the thalamus in the brain. The green color of the pastures in the Bible is not just a color, it is a symbol of abundance. A sheep resting on green pastures means it is lying on its very food. It does not need to worry about what to eat tomorrow, because food is right under its back, all around it. This is a wonderful therapeutic image for those anxious about finances or the future. You are being wrapped in grace. You are lying on God's provision. Relax completely. There is nothing to compete for here. And when the body has been anchored safely on the pasture, David continues to lead our hearing to another healing frequency. He leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. Still waters. Why do sheep need still waters? Because sheep are timid animals. They fear rushing water. The roaring sound of waterfalls panics them, and strong currents can drown them due to their heavy water-absorbent wool. They only dare to drink where the water is calm. Your soul tonight is exactly the same. After a long day battered by waterfalls of information, floods of emotions, and the noise of social media, your soul is parched, but afraid of chaos. You cannot find peace in noisy pleasures. You need still waters. Listen. Do you hear it? The sound of water trickling very gently. Not hurried, not competitive. That water flows lazily, reflecting the quiet sky. Imagine bending down, cupping your hands into that cool water, and washing your face. The coolness spreads, soothing eyes burning from looking at screens too long, soothing the forehead wrinkled from calculation. This is the most precious breather in the script of life. Amidst the high-pitched and rapid notes, God creates a single rest note. At this water's edge, time seems to stand still. No deadlines, no alarm clocks, only you and sacred silence. Drink in this peace. Let it seep into every dry corner of the soul. And what is the result of this natural therapy? David sums it up in a short sentence containing magical restorative power. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. Restore. Imagine a rusty antique clock beating out of rhythm, its timbring overwound. The talented watchmaker takes it apart, cleans every detail, oils every joint, and reassembles it to run smoothly exactly as originally designed. That is what God is doing for your soul tonight. He is not just repairing surface damages. He is restoring the original peace He placed in you when He created you. He is rearranging fragments of emotions, straightening twisted thoughts, and pumping fresh energy into the exhausted soul. The feeling of soul restoration is a very soothing feeling. It is like dropping a heavy backpack to the ground after a long hike. Your shoulders are light. Your breath is deeper. Your heart rate slows down and becomes steady. You feel renewed. This is the most ideal state to prepare to enter sleep. You do not bring exhaustion to sleep. You bring restoration to sleep. Sleep at this moment is no longer a tired escape, but an enjoyment of grace. In this space of absolute silence, beside the cool stream and soft grass, you begin to feel your eyelids becoming pleasantly heavy. Relaxation spreads from the top of your head down to your heels. But deep in the subconscious, we modern humans still have a primal fear, the fear of the dark and loss of control when sleeping. If I sleep soundly, who will stand guard? Who will protect me from dangers lurking in the night? Even if the pasture is soft, even if the stream is cool, without a sense of security, sleep cannot be deep. We need a guardian, a bodyguard who never neglects his duty. And the Bible has a perfect answer for this worry, an affirmation of supernatural watching, taking us from physical relaxation to absolute spiritual peace of mind. Let me tell you about that guardian, the one who has never had a moment of slumber throughout eternity. My dear friend, there is a cruel paradox of insomnia. The more exhausted your body is, the more alert your mind becomes. When night falls and the world sinks into sleep, a part of your brain flips the alarm switch. You lie there, listening to every slight noise in the house. You review the doors of your life. Is the financial door locked? Are there any gaps in the health door? Is the door to the children's future safe? You dare not sleep because deep in your subconscious, you believe, if I close my eyes, who will take care of these things? If I let go, everything will collapse. You turn yourself into a lonely sentry for your own life, and a sentry is not allowed to sleep. That is an unbearable burden. King David, the great warrior, understood this feeling better than anyone. Long nights lying in the wilderness, surrounded by lurking enemies, wild beasts, and dangers from the dark hills in the distance. He too once lifted his eyes to look into that darkness with anxiety. But right in that moment, he found a truth to liberate himself from the guard duty. Listen to the agonizing self-questioning and the authoritative answer in Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. Psalm 121, 1-2. Visualize this scene. David is lying under the starry sky, looking toward the hills. In ancient culture, the hills were often hiding places for robbers, or places where altars of pagan idols were set up. They were symbols of threats or false hopes. But David did not stop his gaze at the hilltops. He looked through them, looked higher than them, to see the Creator, the one who molded those hills. This is the first therapeutic lesson for your sleep. Stop staring at the hills of difficulty. Stop looking at financial reports. Stop looking at hurtful messages. Lift up my eyes. Your help does not come from human struggling efforts, but from the one who made heaven and earth. The scale of this help is billions of times larger than your problems. And here, prepare to receive the Bible's strongest sedative, the statement that will allow you to submit your resignation letter from the position of the night watchman tonight. He will not let your foot be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Psalm 121, 3, 4. Let every word seep into your stressed nervous system. He who keeps you will not slumber. In the human world, everyone must eventually sleep. The best guard, the most devoted parent, the doctor on the night shift, all have moments of fatigue and dozing off. But God does not. He has no biological cycle. He knows no fatigue. He exists outside of time and space. What does this mean for you right now? It means this universe already has a watchman, and that person is not you. Imagine the concept of shift work. Throughout a long day, you have worked hard. You have guarded your family, your job, and yourself. You have done well on your day shift. Now it is night. This is God's shift. Tell your mind, "Oh worries, I hand you over to the one who never sleeps. My shift is over." The affirmation, "He will not let your foot be moved," brings a strangely solid feeling. When you sleep, you are afraid you will slip, lose control. But God promises to hold your ground. He maintains your position even when you are not conscious of it. In addition, the word "behold" rings out like a cry of joy. He who keeps Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. Why mention Israel here? Israel is an entire nation, a history, a grand program. David wants to say, the one who is orchestrating all of human history, the one who is preserving an entire nation. He is more than capable of preserving you alone. If he can handle the big things, he can certainly handle your small things. In this quiet space, imagine Jesus standing there, like a sturdy lighthouse amidst the night sea. His light never goes out. His eyes never close. He sees dangers you do not see, and he stops them from afar. Your hypervigilance is redundant. It is like sitting on an airplane and trying to tense up to help the plane fly. It is useless and only exhausts you. The plane is controlled by the pilot, and your life is controlled by the Creator. Relax your muscles. Lean back in your seat. Trust your pilot. When you accept the truth that God is awake, you receive permission to sleep. Your sleep becomes an act of faith. You sleep not because you are irresponsible, but because you trust your protector. A sense of safety begins to spread warmly in your chest. Your heart rate is synchronizing with the peace of this Bible verse. You are not alone in the dark. There is a pair of loving eyes watching over your every breath. You are enveloped. You are protected. And when the presence of the guardian has been established, we begin to feel not only safety, but also a cool covering. He not only stands watching, he is also the shade, shielding us from the scorching heat of remaining anxieties. How specific and close is this protection? Let David lead us even closer, right under the shadow of the Almighty in the next part. My dear friend, after being reassured that there is one awake to watch over your sleep, perhaps there is still a little hesitation in your heart. You ask yourself, "He watches over me, but does he really understand the physical pain and exhaustion I am enduring? Or is he just a powerful but distant God?" Tonight, Psalm 121 continues to whisper into your ear the gentlest truth, pulling the Almighty from the distant stars right down beside your pillow. The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade on your right hand. Psalm 121:5. Close your eyes and feel this beautiful image. The Lord is your shade. To create shade for someone, where must you stand? You cannot stand kilometers away. You must stand very close. Close enough that your body blocks the harsh sunlight for that person. God's presence tonight is just that intimate. He is standing between you and the scorching worries, using his very presence to create a cool shaded area for your soul to take refuge. The Bible speaks more specifically. On your right hand. In ancient Jewish culture, the right hand symbolized strength, the ability to act, work, and battle. does the cause of your insomnia often revolve around this right hand? You worry about tomorrow's work, unfinished projects, declining abilities, about whether your hands are strong enough to support your family. The promise here is a direct painkiller for your aching right hand. God protects not only the soul, but also your ability to work and your strength. He is the shade for your right hand, meaning He envelops your efforts. He says, "Tonight, let your right hand hang loose. Do not tense it up anymore. I am covering it. I will restore strength to it so that tomorrow you can continue the fight. But for now, rest." This protection does not stop at space, but also covers time. Insomnia and anxiety often attack us in a pincer movement. The pressure of the day and the fear of the night. David saw through this law and offered a comprehensive insurance commitment in the next verse. "The sun shall not strike you by day, nor the moon by night." Psalm 121:6. Let us analyze these two hidden enemies deeper to see the wonderful healing that the Bible verse brings. First, the sun shall not strike you by day. The sun here represents what is clear, glaring, and harsh in the reality of life. It is deadlines, bills, stressful meetings, workplace conflicts. Its heat can cause you burnout, a state of emotional exhaustion that many modern people suffer from. Perhaps tonight you lie down with a body burning with the heat of frustration or worry from the day. But the promise is, it will not strike you. You may have to walk under the sun, but you will not get sunstroke because you have the shade. God helps you be immune to the toxicity of the working environment. He creates a filter so that work pressure cannot penetrate and destroy your inner peace. And more importantly for sleep tonight, nor the moon by night. Why can the moon harm you? In ancient thinking, moonlight was often associated with mental illnesses, madness. The word lunatic in English comes from luna moon, and emotional instability. The moon causes tides, and metaphorically, it also stirs up the tides of emotion in the human heart. Night is when the demons of emotion rise. Loneliness becomes faster under the moonlight. Sadness, regret about the past, or negative thoughts, overthinking, often attack most powerfully at 2 to 3 a.m. That is when the moon is trying to harm you, trying to make you panic in the silence. But God promises the moon will not harm you. He protects your emotional nervous system. He sets a boundary for the tide of sadness, causing it to rise only to that level and then recede. Nor the moon by night is a declaration that you will be safe from the undercurrents of depression and anxiety at night. Imagine you are lying in a sturdy tent in the middle of the desert. Outside, by day the sun can scorch everything. By night, the cold of the moon can pierce the bone. But inside this tent, the tent of God's presence, the temperature is always perfect. You are isolated, you are safe. This is the state of spiritual homeostasis. When you understand this truth, you will stop fearing facing the boss tomorrow, the sun, or lying there thinking randomly tonight, the moon. You are wrapped in a protective cocoon 24/7. Breathe deeply. Feel the coolness of the shade covering your forehead. Feel the relaxation of the right hand loosening on the bed. You do not need to parry blows anymore. The sun has set, and the moon outside that window is just a gentle night light that God hung up, not a threat. This protection brings ultimate freedom. You are free to be weak, free to rest, free to switch off, because you know that, whether it is the heat of pressure or the cold of loneliness, nothing can pierce through the shield of shade that the loving one is covering around you. And when you have been fully protected from day to night, from body to emotion, we are ready for the final blessing. A blessing not only confined to tonight, but opening up for the long and wide journey of your life. That is the promise of peaceful going out and coming in. An eternal assurance, so you can close your eyes and sink into dreamless sleep. Let us walk together to the final verses of Psalm 121, where God stamps a lifetime warranty commitment for your soul. My dear friend, the journey to find good sleep is actually a journey to find assurance. We toss and turn because we are not sure how tomorrow will be, not sure if we have enough health, not sure if bad things will happen to us. Uncertainty is sleep's number one enemy. But tonight, Psalm 121 closes with a manifesto clearing away all that uncertainty. Listen to the universe's strongest commitment to you. The Lord will keep you from all evil. He will keep your life. Psalm 121:7. Pay attention to the phrase, from all evil. In the mind of an anxious person, evil takes many forms: sickness, unemployment, accidents, separation. You lie there drawing up hundreds of terrible scenarios. But God promises to keep you from all evil. This does not mean your life will never encounter difficulties, because we are living in an imperfect world. But it means no evil is allowed to touch the core of your life. He will keep your life. This is the deepest layer of protection. The body may be tired, finances may deplete, emotions may fluctuate, but the life, the sacred life, the true self, the precious soul inside you is safe in His hands. No virus, no slander, no economic disaster can steal the core peace God has placed in you. Breathe a sigh of relief. Your most precious asset has been sealed and protected carefully. You are safe at the cellular level of the soul. And to leave you no reason to worry anymore, David expands the scope of protection to the entire rhythm of human activity. The Lord will keep your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore. Psalm 121:8, you're going out and you're coming in. Our life is a series of goings out and comings in. Waking up in the morning and stepping out the door is going out. Returning home after work in the evening is coming in. Starting a new job is going out. Finishing a project is coming in. Tonight, your act of going to sleep is an act of coming in. You are coming into rest. You are coming into the world of the subconscious. You are retreating from the noisy outside world to return to the inner home. And God promises, He keeps this coming in of yours. He stands right at the threshold of sleep, guarding, so you enter the dream peacefully. And tomorrow, when dawn breaks, your act of waking up is going out. You step out into the world again to fight, to love, to work. And God also promises He will wait for you at the threshold of the new day. He will go with you. You never have to step across any threshold of life alone. Imagine Jesus as the great and loving gatekeeper. He closes the door tonight to stop all outside anxieties. And He will open the door tomorrow to welcome new opportunities. Your job is just to sleep soundly between those two closings and openings. Finally, anchor your mind to the eternal phrase, from this time forth and forevermore. From this time forth. From now, or precisely from this moment, right as you lie on the bed listening to these lines. The protection contract is in effect. You do not have to wait until you are better, holier, or more successful. Right now, when you are weakest and need sleep most, God is protecting you, and forevermore, and for eternity. This protection has no expiration date. It does not depend on the economy or the changing times. It is everlasting. Anxiety often comes from the fact that we fear the future changing. But when you have an immutable protector going with you into forevermore, the future is no longer a threat, but a promise. Now, relax completely. Let these ancient biblical words become the softest blanket covering you. Imagine you are lying on the green pastures of Psalm 23, under the starry sky that David gazed upon. You hear the still waters trickling, washing away all thoughts. You feel the shade of God's right hand covering, soothing every pain. You see the guardian standing there, smiling and nodding. Everything is safe. You can sleep. Turn off the light in your mind. Drop your hands. Let your breathing become deep and slow. God keeps my coming and going. God keeps my soul. From now until forever. Nothing left to do. Nothing left to worry about. Only peace remains. Only sleep remains. Good night. God's beloved. Amen. My dear friend, we have just left the gentle green pastures and cool streams. Your soul has drunk the water, has been restored. But life, as we all know, is not just sunny days. There are nights. Even though the body is lying on a soft mattress, your mind feels unsteady, as if standing in the eye of a storm. News of economic recession, the fluctuations of the times, or simply the shaking of a relationship makes you feel the ground beneath your feet trembling. Insomnia at its deepest level often comes from a sense of instability. We toss and turn because we are trying to cling to things that are inherently uncertain. Money, fame, or the emotions of others. When those things shake, our sleep shatters. It was in those unsteady moments that King David, who had experienced coups, pursuits, moments when the kingdom seemed to collapse, found a secret to keep his soul immobile. He did not find peace by escaping, but by anchoring to a rock. Listen to the oath of silence in Psalm 62 and let it become the anchor for the boat of your mind tonight. For God alone, my soul waits in silence. From Him comes my salvation. Psalm 62:1. Pay attention to the phrase, waits in silence. In the modern world, we fear silence. We fill our ears with music, podcasts, news, and the noise of social media right up until bedtime. Why? Because we are afraid to face the inner voice. But David teaches us that healing only comes when we dare to turn off all the mixed sounds to step into holy silence. This silence is not meaningless emptiness. It is an active waiting, a complete centering. For God alone. Try practicing this right now. Imagine you are turning off every anxiety switch in your head. Turn off the work switch. Turn off the worry switch about children. Turn off the debt switch. Only a single frequency remains broadcasting. The presence of God. When you eliminate all the noise, your soul will automatically switch to wait mode, not waiting in anxiety, but waiting for the salvation that will surely come. And why can you wait with peace of mind? David gives the reason right after, a reason as solid as a mountain. He alone is my rock and my salvation, my fortress. I shall not be greatly shaken. Psalm 62:2. Visualize the image of my rock and my fortress. In the dark night, when everything around is quicksand, changing and drifting away, God is the immutable rock. You cannot build good sleep on the sand of emotions, because emotions are sometimes happy, sometimes sad. You cannot build good sleep on the foundation of circumstances, because circumstances are sometimes favorable, sometimes adverse. You must build it on the rock. As you lie on the bed, feel the support of the mattress, but deeper than that, feel the support of the sacred rock. Tell yourself, I am lying in a fortress. This wall cannot be pierced. And here is the most practical therapeutic phrase for the worrier. I shall not be greatly shaken. David is very honest. He does not say, I will never shake. We are human. When we hear bad news, our hearts still beat fast, our hands still tremble. That is a biological reflex. But David affirms, we may be shaken, but we will not be greatly shaken, meaning not collapsed, not completely knocked down. Like a skyscraper built with earthquake-resistant technology, it may sway when the storm comes to disperse the force, but its foundation is planted deep into the bedrock, so it never falls. Faith does not paralyze your emotions. Faith helps you have resilience to endure shocks without crumbling. Tonight, if you feel your life is being shaken, remember Psalm 62. Accept those gentle tremors as part of life, but firmly believe that your core is fastened to the rock. You are safe. External shaking cannot collapse your inner home. Repeat this like a mantra before drifting off to sleep. My soul waits in silence. He is my rock. When you identify this fulcrum, the feeling of falling, the hypnic jerk when just dozing off, will disappear. Your nervous system receives a grounding signal. You are no longer floating amidst indefinite worries. You have landed safely on the platform of absolute faith. Silence on the rock helps you find your own center again. But if tomorrow is not just gentle shakes, but earth-shattering events, like mountains falling into the sea, will this rock still be strong enough to keep us? Will our faith stand firm before great disasters? Do not worry, because David not only teaches us how to stand on the rock, he also hands us a map to find peace, even when the world map is redrawn by natural disasters and enemy attacks. Let us step into the next idea together, where we will face life's tsunamis with an astonishingly calm attitude. My dear friend, one of the most sophisticated thieves of sleep is catastrophizing. When night falls, your mind begins to weave the worst-case scenarios. A slight chest pain turns into a terminal illness in your thoughts. An unanswered message from the boss turns into the risk of job loss. Bad news on the media makes you feel like the world is about to collapse. You lie there, heart pounding, waiting for some vague disaster about to strike. To heal this syndrome, we need an extremely strong dose. Not empty comforting words like, everything will be fine, but a majestic affirmation of the power of the refuge. And there is no manifesto more powerful than Psalm 46. Take a deep breath and let this Bible verse resound like thunder, dispelling every cloud of fear in your head. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1. God is our refuge. Imagine the most fortified nuclear bunker. When the siren sounds, when bombs fall outside, those inside are absolutely safe. They can feel the shaking, hear the explosions, but destruction cannot touch them. Tonight, your bed is that bunker. You are lying in God's refuge, and more importantly, a very present help. He is not help that will come or has come. He is present. Right here, right now. You do not need to make a call, do not need to send an application for consideration. He is already there, right in your trouble. Now, let David lead us to face the greatest fear, the fear of the collapse of foundations. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. Psalm 46:2. Look at the terrifying picture the verse describes. The earth gives way, and mountains be moved into the heart of the sea. Mountains are symbols of eternity, immutability. If mountains collapse, what is left to trust? In your life, that mountain could be the job you dedicated 20 years to, the marriage you cultivated all your life, or the health you were always proud of. When those things collapse, the feeling of emptiness is terrible. That is when insomnia becomes chronic. But listen to the response of faith. Therefore we will not fear. Why? Is it because we are insensitive? No. We do not fear because we know that even if the mountains fall into the sea, God still sits on his throne. Our security lies not in the mountain, but in the creator of the mountain. This shift in perspective is the core of faith-based cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. When you fear an event, ask yourself, if that happens, is God still God? The answer is yes. Then you still have hope. But how to keep that calm when the storm is roaring in your ears? Psalm 46:10 offers a command, which is also an ultimate meditation method. Be still and know that I am God. That's Psalm 46:10. Be still. In the original Hebrew, this word is rapha, which means drop your hands, relax, stop fighting. Imagine you are clenching your fists, tensing your muscles, trying to keep everything from collapsing. You try to control others, control the future. God says, Rapha, let go. Unclench your fists. Sleep only comes when you perform this Rapha action. You cannot sleep while your hands are still gripping the sword. Tonight, practice letting go. Let go of worries about money. Let go of anger with colleagues. Let go of control over children. And the second part, and know that I am God. When you let go, it does not mean you give up to fate. You let go so God can take over. You stop playing God, stop controlling, so God can be God. The know here is not book knowledge, but experience. You only know how powerful He is when you dare to let go so He can act. Imagine you are on a boat in the middle of a rough sea. Waves are crashing violently. Jesus is also on the boat, and He is sleeping. He can sleep because He knows His Father is at the helm. Tonight, God invites you to lie down beside Him, rest your head on the same pillow of faith, and sleep. The roaring waters outside are still there, but they are no longer in your mind. Your mind is now a soundproof room. You hear the wind howling, but it is like background music helping you sleep better because you know you are in the fortress. The bigger the storm, the sturdier you find this fortress. A feeling of composure begins to spread. It is the composure of a general who holds victory in his hands. You do not need to panic and run around. You just need to be still. Inhale. Be still. Relax your whole body. Exhale. Know that I am God. Hand control over to Him. When this composure has reigned, when you have accepted that, even if the mountains fall, I am still safe, then the fear of specific dangers, arrows flying by day and night, plagues or traps, will also become meaningless, because you not only have a general fortress, you also have a private, secret place, an invisible bulletproof vest that David described in the greatest manifesto of protection. Psalm 91. Let us step into that secret place together in the next part to put on the armor of omnipotence for your sleep. My dear friend, there are nights when insomnia does not come from specific worries, but from a vague yet paralyzing fear. You feel like you are naked in the middle of a battlefield. You fear the dark, fear bad omens, fear invisible diseases, fear evil things suddenly striking. This feeling of insecurity makes you shrink back, pulling the blanket over your head, but still finding no safety. That is when you need to step into the secret place of Psalm 91. This is not just a poem. This is the constitution of spiritual security. Listen to the opening sentence, the key to opening the door of this secret chamber. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. Pay attention to the verb dwells. David is not talking about those who only visit God when in trouble, but those who choose to dwell in Him. To have absolute peace, you must transfer your spiritual household registration into the shelter of the Most High. And when you are there, you will abide in the shadow. As we have said, to abide in someone's shadow, you must be very close to them. But here, the image is upgraded to a new, tender level. He will cover you with His pinions, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and buckler. Psalm 91:4. Under His wings. Imagine a mother hen spreading her wings to protect her chicks when a hawk appears. The chicks snuggle deep into the warm feathers. They do not see the dark sky outside. They only smell their mother. Feel her warmth and heartbeat. Tonight, crawl under those great wings. Let the sacred feathers block your view from fears. Inside there, the temperature is perfect. Safety is absolute. God's faithfulness is the shield blocking every attack. You do not need to protect yourself because His faithfulness is doing it for you. And this is the specific remedy for the night terrors that many insomniacs face. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. Psalm 91:5 or 6. The Bible clearly classifies dangers to eliminate them one by one. Terror of the night, nightmares, fear of demons, or sudden chest pains at 3 a.m. God says, you will not fear, because in that darkness, He is the light. Arrow that flies by day, criticisms, attacking messages, work pressure. God says, it will not touch you. Pestilence that stalks in darkness, fear of unseen diseases, viruses, cancer. God says, I control even the microscopic world. You are enveloped 24/7 from morning to night, from the visible to the invisible. This assurance allows your nervous system to shift from fight mode to rest mode. But that is not all. Psalm 91 also reveals a secret about the invisible security force on duty by your bed, something the naked eye cannot see. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. Psalm 91:11-12. Close your eyes and visualize. The space around your bed is not as empty as you think. God has commanded His angels. They are standing there at the four corners of the room with drawn swords shining, guarding your sleep, to guard you in all your ways. Even in dreams, when your mind wanders into strange lands, angels still follow to protect, so you do not strike your foot against a stone, meaning you are not hurt by psychological shocks. You are not alone. You are served and protected by an entire heavenly legion. Thank them and thank their commander. The awareness of this invisible world will fill the void of cold loneliness, replacing it with the warmth of providence. Finally, God personally speaks to affirm this relationship in the concluding verses of Psalm 91. Because he holds fast to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him because he knows my name. Psalm 91:14. Because he holds fast to me in love. This is the only condition, not because you are perfect, not because you do many good deeds, but because you hold fast to God with love. The image of holding fast is like a child hugging his father's neck tightly when walking through a dark path. As long as you hug him tight, he promises, I will deliver him. Tonight, turn sleep into an embrace. Say, God, I hold fast to you. I love you. And in that embrace, all fears of pestilence, arrows, or terror vanish. You are in the secret place. You are under the shadow of wings. You are invulnerable. When the absolute sense of safety of Psalm 91 has enveloped you, when you know that tonight you are so carefully protected, a new emotion will begin to kindle. It is no longer the fear of the dark night, but the burning hope for tomorrow morning. Because when you know you will survive tonight, you begin to look forward to dawn. And King David, from within the darkest caves, saw the light of that dawn. He teaches us how to transform the pain of the dark night into the triumph of the morning through Psalm 30. Let us await the moment of sunrise in the soul together in the next part. My dear friend, perhaps the biggest reason we fear going to sleep is that we carry a heavy sadness into bed. It could be the pain of loss, failure at work, or a sense of deep loneliness. You fear that if you close your eyes, that sadness will swallow you. You fear that this darkness is eternal, that your life has hit a dead end. But tonight, I invite you to sit beside King David, who tasted long nights, wetting his pillow with tears, to hear him tell of an immutable law of the universe, a law that brings ultimate comfort to broken souls. Open your heart to receive the beautiful promise in Psalm 30. For his anger is but for a moment, and his favor is for a lifetime. Weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes with the morning. Psalm 30:5. This is a masterpiece of cognitive time therapy. David puts two concepts on the scale: moment and lifetime. Your current pain, no matter how intense, is just a moment. But God's favor and love for you are for a lifetime. When you are in a dark tunnel, you think this tunnel is endless. But God reminds you, no, my dear child, this is just a short stretch. The light is ahead. And pay attention to the poetic metaphor. Weeping may tarry for the night. The word tarry implies staying temporarily like a traveler. Imagine sadness, anxiety, or tears as an uninvited guest knocking on your door at dusk. You cannot chase them away immediately. You are forced to let them in. But, and this is the most important but of your life, this guest has no permanent residency in your soul. He only stays for the night. He has a scheduled checkout time tomorrow morning. He has no right to overstay in your life. This mindset liberates you from despair. Instead of struggling violently to banish sadness immediately, which often causes further insomnia, calmly tell it, all right, you can stay here tonight, but remember tomorrow morning you must leave. This bed is mine. This house is God's. This gentle acceptance helps the nervous system stop its resistance. And paradoxically, when you stop resisting, sleep comes more easily. Because David pledges, "But joy comes with the morning, not might come, but will come, as certain as the sun rising in the east." Joy here is not necessarily hearty laughter, but relief, freshness, the restoration of hope. Tonight's sleep is the bridge taking you from the shore of night weeping to the shore of morning joy. Step onto that bridge, sleep to get to the morning faster. And when that light comes, a miraculous transformation will take place. David describes the metamorphosis of the soul in verse 11. "You have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness." Psalm 30:11. Visualize this scene in your mind. God is approaching your bed. He gently removes the sackcloth, the rough garment, symbolizing mourning, pain, and anxiety that you are wearing. That garment has scratched your skin and weighed down your shoulders all day long. He takes it off, throwing it into the darkness. And then he clothes you in a new garment. "Clothed me with gladness." This garment is soft, fragrant, and radiant with light. Mourning into dancing. Perhaps tonight you are curled up, but cultivate an image of tomorrow. You will dance. You will smile again. Your problem will be solved. Your body will be healthy again. Faith is the ability to see the dance even when your feet are still in pain. It is this belief in the morning triumph that will lull you to sleep. You sleep not in resignation, but in expectant hope. Like a child going to sleep early on Christmas Eve, because they know for sure gifts will fill the space under the tree tomorrow morning. Sleep because God's gifts, solutions, opportunities, healing are being transported to arrive with the dawn. When you hold on to this promise, the dark night is no longer scary. It is just a velvet curtain lowered to prepare for the brilliant performance of tomorrow. You are the audience, and you need to rest to have the strength to applaud the upcoming great play. But my friend, sometimes waiting for the dawn is not enough. There are times when the darkness is too thick, and you feel too weak, like a lamp about to be extinguished by the wind. You ask yourself, do I have enough strength to survive until the sun rises? That is when we need a stronger intervention, not just waiting for the light outside, but lighting a lamp inside. We need a supernatural strength, not just to lie and wait, but to run and leap over walls of obstacles. And King David, in the great hymn of triumph, Psalm 18, will show us how to activate that endless source of energy right tonight. My dear friend, is the reason you dread waking up tomorrow because you feel you are too exhausted? You look at the to-do list, look at the pressures waiting, the troops of difficulties, and you tell yourself, I am not strong enough. I am a lamp about to go out. The fear of inadequacy is the hidden enemy tearing at your sleep. But tonight, King David, who wrote Psalm 18 on the day he was delivered from all his enemies, will hand you a secret to regenerate energy. This is not muscle power. This is divine power. Let this Bible verse relight your cooling soul. For it is you who light my lamp. The Lord my God lightens my darkness. Psalm 18:28. Pay attention to the absolute intimacy and personalization here. You who light my lamp. When the whole outside world is immersed in darkness, when no one sees the despair inside you, God sees. He does not just grant common sunlight to everyone, but he walks into the dark room of your soul, takes the fading wick of your hope, and relights it. That lamp is the will to live, faith, and your creativity. Tonight, as you lie down, Believe that God is doing this divine maintenance work. He is refueling you with the Holy Spirit, rekindling the fire of enthusiasm. You do not need to try to burn by yourself. Your job is to let Him light the fire. And when the inner lamp is lit, the outer darkness, difficult circumstances, will no longer be scary. The Lord my God lightens my darkness. You will see a way out that you did not see before. When strength has been restored from within, David leads us to a powerful action statement, breaking all personal limits. For by you I can run against a troop, and by my God I can leap over a wall. Psalm 18:29. This is the image of a supernatural warrior. Run against a troop. What is your troop tomorrow? Is it dozens of unanswered emails? Piles of bills? The opposition of the crowd? Normally, you would want to run away from them. But with God's power, by you can run against them, not with fear, but with overwhelming spirit. You will pierce through the formation of trouble. Leap over a wall. The wall represents obstacles that seem insurmountable. A chronic illness, a career deadlock, or the limits of your own ability. But David says, I leap over it, not climbing up laboriously, but leap a jump full of inner strength and grace. Why is this important for tonight's sleep? Because your sleep is the run-up for that jump. Change your mindset. Mindset shift. You are not lying down like a defeated person, licking wounds. You're lying down like an athlete, resting in the training camp before the match. Your rest is strategic rest. Every hour you sleep deeply tonight, you are accumulating fuel so that tomorrow you can run and leap. To make you even more reassured about the possibility of victory, David describes how God equips you in sleep. It is God who equips me with strength and makes my way blameless. He makes my feet like the deer's. He makes me stand on the heights. Psalm 18:32-33. Equips me with strength. Imagine while you sleep, God is strapping a belt of strength around your waist, toning your will. And the most beautiful image, feet like the deer's. Why a deer? The deer is a skillful climber. It can stand firm on the most precipitous, dangerous cliffs without slipping. It is agile, flexible, and full of vitality. God promises to grant you agility to handle every complex situation tomorrow. You will no longer be heavy and slow due to anxiety. You will glide over difficulties, stand on the heights. This is the position of the winner. You are no longer in the valley of the shadow of death, as at the beginning of the story. You're standing on the heights, looking down at your problems. From this perspective, everything becomes small. So, resting warrior, what is left to make you toss and turn? The rock has supported your back, Psalm 62. The fortress has sheltered you, Psalm 46. Angels have guarded you, Psalm 91. Dawn is bringing joy, Psalm 30. And supernatural strength is being charged into your body, Psalm 18. You have everything. Tonight, you are absolutely safe. Tomorrow, you are surely victorious. The battle in the mind is over. The sound of swords and spears has fallen silent. Worries have surrendered to your strong faith. Now, only one final task remains. The sweetest task. Enjoying the winner's reward. That is a dreamless sleep. The room of your mind has now been cleared of the garbage of anxiety. The walls have been reinforced. The oil lamp of hope is burning gently, radiating a warm golden light. Your body, after taking off the heavy armor, is gradually sinking into the softness of the bedding. We are ready to move to the final chapter, the most important chapter of tonight. We will perform the sacred ritual to completely power off so that soul and body merge as one in holy rest. Relax your shoulders, loosen your jaw muscles, and prepare to listen to the final blessing guiding you into dreams. My dear friend, look at the fire in your mind right now. The soaring flames full of energy of victory in the previous chapter have now completed their mission. They are slowly dying down, giving way to glowing red embers, radiating a gentle, steady, and deep heat. That is the perfect temperature for sleep. Your body, after being empowered to leap over a wall, now needs to be completely unburdened. Imagine you are taking off your warrior shoes, taking off your defensive armor. You do not need to be strong anymore. Now is the time to become soft. Now is the time to perform a sacred ritual that King David left for us in Psalm 4, an evening prayer containing the secret of peaceful sleep. Listen to this whisper and let it guide your every muscle. In peace, I will both lie down and sleep. Psalm 4:8. At first glance, this statement seems simple, but let me show you the miracle hidden in its structure. A miracle that can heal your chronic insomnia. David says, I will both lie down and sleep. Why emphasize the word both? Because in this high-pressure modern world, the greatest tragedy of the insomniac is the separation between those two actions. We lie down, but we do not sleep. We lie down, but the mind still stands up and runs around. We lie down, but our hands still hold the phone scrolling through news. We lie down, but the jaw is still clenched, the shoulders still tensed, as if holding up the whole sky. The body's act of lying down has not received the soul's consensus. That is the internal conflict, preventing melatonin from being secreted. But tonight, with the guidance of God's Word, we must heal this rift. We will issue a unified command for body, mind, spirit. Tell yourself, when my back touches the mattress, my mind will also touch rest. I will do both. I do not lie down to worry, I lie down to sleep. And the key to binding these two actions together lies in the opening words. In peace, Amemadi. In peace, I will both lie down. Peace here in the original Hebrew is shalom. Shalom is not just the end of war. Shalom is wholeness, completeness, harmony, the prosperity of the soul. When David says, in peace, he is describing the state of the psychological environment he chooses to enter. Imagine peace as a thick, warm quilt. You do not lie down on an empty bed. You curl up inside that blanket of peace. Before closing your eyes, practice putting on this peace. Forgive those who hurt you today. That is shaking off the sharp thorns so the blanket is soft. Accept unfinished tasks. That is softening the pillow. Give thanks that you still have a place to lay your head. That is warming the space. When you actively enter the state of in peace, you're sending an extremely strong safety signal to the sympathetic nervous system. You're telling the reptilian brain, there are no predators, there are no enemies, all is safe. David wrote Psalm 4 while he was besieged by slander and injustice. Those around him were asking, who will show us some good? Psalm 4:4-6. They were confused. They were afraid. But David was different. He found a joy in his heart greater than when grain and wine abound. Psalm 4-7. And it was that intrinsic joy that allowed him to lie down and sleep immediately. This is a profound psychological lesson. Good sleep does not come from changing external circumstances, like a perfectly soundproof room, expensive bedding, but from establishing internal order. You can sleep well on a hard floor if your heart is full of shalom, and you can toss and turn on an expensive memory foam mattress if your heart is full of storms. Tonight, try to relax your whole body in the literal sense of the word lie down. Feel the earth's gravity pulling you down. Do not resist it. Let your legs feel heavy. Let your hands drop. Imagine all tension flowing out of your body, seeping into the mattress, and vanishing into the void. You do not need to hold a defensive posture anymore. No one is attacking you in this sleep. Jesus is here, beside the dying fire, and He is guarding this space. When the body has truly laid down and the mind has been enveloped in peace, you will see sleep come not as a compulsion, but as a gift. It comes gently like a mist covering you, separating you from the noisy reality. But there is a final barrier that often appears right at the threshold of sleep. That is the thought, if I sleep, who will take care of things? We fear that if we let go of the steering wheel, the car of life will plunge into the abyss. We need a sure assurance that there is someone capable and trustworthy enough to take the wheel in our absence. David understood this fear of control, and he offered the only ultimate reason that helped him dare to turn off his consciousness. A reason lies in the latter part of the Bible verse, an affirmation of exclusive trust. Let us discover who that someone is, the only one worthy for you to entrust the keys of your life to tonight, so you can be absolutely reassured to sink into dreams. My dear friend, when you have lain down, darkness covers the room. This is the moment when the false supports of life begin to reveal themselves as weak things. In the daylight, you rely on your position to feel safe. You rely on your account balance to feel secured. You rely on relationships to feel loved. Those things are like wooden crutches. But when night falls in sleep, you cannot bring your position, money, or relationships into your dreams. You are completely naked and alone. It is this feeling of loss of support that panics your subconscious and wakes you up in the middle of the night. But listen to King David whisper into your ear the antidote for this fear. He continues verse 8 of Psalm 4 with an affirmation of absolute exclusion. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Psalm 4, 8b. Let the keyword alone sink deep into your heart. David does not say, for you, along with my army, along with my treasure, along with my wisdom, make me dwell in safety. He says, you alone. This is a courageous and liberating declaration. David is stripping power from everything else. He says to money, you are not my safety. He says to soldiers, you are not my final protection. He says to the locked door, you are not my keeper. When you dare to bet your safety on this alone door, the burden will fall off your shoulders. Why? Because if safety depends on you and what you have, you will always fear losing them. But if safety depends on God alone, and God is immutable, then your safety is immutable. Imagine you are lying on a raft in the middle of the ocean. There is nothing around to hold onto. But that raft is anchored to a giant rock at the bottom of the sea. Even though you cannot see the rock, the anchor line is sure. You alone is that anchor line. And what is the result of this exclusive trust? Make me dwell in safety. The verb make me shows that this is God's action. You do not need to try to be safe. You are made to be safe. You are the receiver, not the doer. Tonight, allow yourself to be passive. Allow God to do His work. Let him wrap you in his cocoon of safety. To understand deeper the power of this safety, we need to look at Psalm 3, a poem written in a context even darker than Psalm 4. At that time, David was fleeing from Absalom, his own rebellious son who was hunting his father down. Imagine that extreme pain. Betrayed by his son, stripped of his throne, sleeping in the wild, his life hanging by a thread. By normal logic, that should have been the whitest, sleepless night of his life. But David wrote a Bible verse that challenges every law of psychology. I lay down and slept. I woke again, for the Lord sustained me. Psalm 3:5. I lay down and slept. Amidst the sound of pursuing swords, he still slept. This is not the sleep of apathy, but the sleep of surrender. When a child lies in his father's arms, even if the sky falls outside, he still sleeps soundly. Why? Because he believes his father is strong enough to handle everything. David became like a child before God, and the miracle lies in the second part. For the Lord sustained me. The word sustained in the original language evokes the image of placing something underneath to prop it up, preventing it from collapsing. When you sleep, you lose consciousness. You're like a building without pillars, very prone to collapsing before fear. But God slips his hand under your back, becoming the foundation, the pillar supporting the entire weight of your life. Visualize right now, under that soft mattress is not a wooden bed slat or metal springs. Underneath is the giant hand of the Creator. That hand is supporting your spine, supporting your heartbeat, supporting your breath, and supporting the burdens of worry you are embracing. God says, "Go to sleep, my child. I am holding you. I will not pull my hand back. I will sustain life for you, sustain order for your family, sustain the operation of this world while you rest." This sustaining happens continuously, every second, every minute. I woke again. The fact that you can open your eyes tomorrow morning is the most eloquent proof that last night, God was working. He kept your heart beating thousands of times in your unconsciousness. If He can do that extraordinary thing, can He not solve your small problem? Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, feel your body weight sinking deeper into that supporting palm. Do not resist anymore. You do not need to help God support yourself. Just like when you sit on an airplane, you do not need to tense up to help the plane fly. You just need to sit still and trust the engine. Tonight, God's grace is the engine, and you are a business class passenger invited to rest. The safety that you alone brings is a safety without gaps. Because no human element intervenes, there is no risk. Nothing to watch out for, nothing to double check. Every alarm system of the mind can be turned off. When you accept the truth that God alone is enough, a sacred silence will begin to spread in the brain. The noisy voices of worry, must do this, must take care of that, will gradually die down because they realize they have no duty here anymore. God has taken over the shift. A light, floating sensation begins to appear. That is the sign of the soul gradually separating from the shore of consciousness to drift out into the ocean of restorative sleep. The boat of your mind has weighed anchor from temporary shores, and now it is drifting gently on the waters of grace, positioned by the North Star that is God. But before that boat goes too far into the land of dreams, we need to perform one final operation to clear the deck. Sometimes, despite trusting, the garbage of negative emotions from the day is still scattered somewhere, preventing deep sleep. David, in his wisdom, showed us how to declutter the mind one last time through handling anger and offering the sacrifice of righteousness. My dear friend, let us be honest with each other in this moment. Is there a hot coal smoldering in your chest? Perhaps today someone said a word that hurt you. Perhaps you feel you were treated unfairly. Or perhaps you are angry at yourself for some mistake. You bring that hot coal to bed. You turn off the room light, but you cannot turn off the flame of resentment. You lie there replaying the scenario. I should have said this. How dare they do that to me? This rumination activates the brain, keeps body temperature high and heart rate racing, making sleep impossible. King David, who was writing Psalm 4 while being attacked by those who love vain words and seek after lies, verse 2, understood the heat of this anger very well. He had the right to be angry. He had the right to retaliate. But he chose a different path to protect his sleep and his soul. Listen to his profound psychotherapeutic advice in verse 4. Be angry and do not sin. Ponder in your own hearts on your beds and be silent. Psalm 4. This is a delicate emotional processing procedure consisting of 4 steps. Step 1. Be angry. The Bible does not tell you to suppress emotions. God does not want you to wear an I'm fine mask when going to sleep. Suppression only causes emotions to go deep into the subconscious and turn into nightmares or physical ailments. David allows you to admit, I am angry, I am hurting. Name that emotion, allow it to be present. Step 2, and do not sin. Sinning here is not just an external wrong action, but also letting anger fester inside, turning into toxic bitterness. Sinning is when you let anger master your night instead of God. The limit of anger is acknowledgement, not nurturing. Step 3. Ponder in your own hearts on your beds. This is the transformative step. Instead of directing attention outward, thinking about the enemy, thinking about the problem, direct attention inward. Ponder in your heart. Conduct this internal dialogue right now. Why does this hurt me so much? Is it because my ego is too big? Am I expecting perfection from others? When you ponder deeply, you shift from the state of a reactive victim to a wise observer. Your bed becomes a therapist's couch where you heal yourself with understanding. Step 4. And be silent. In the original Hebrew, this word is Selah, a rest note in music. After being angry, after pondering, the final destination must be silence. This is not a forced silence, but the silence of putting a full stop. Tell your mind, enough. This case has been judged. Now it is time to close the file. Imagine holding the remote control of your mind and pressing the mute button. All noisy arguments die down. Only peaceful breathing remains. This silence paves the way for the next step, a sacred act turning your bed into an altar of offering. Offer right sacrifices and put your trust in the Lord. Psalm 4:5. Offer right sacrifices. You might ask, in the middle of the night, where do I get a bull or sheep to offer? My friend, in the New Testament and in a spiritual context, the offering that pleases God most at this moment is the sacrifice of letting go. Your worries, your anger, your need to control the future, gather them all. View them as the sheep you need to place on the altar tonight. The act of offering is the act of releasing your hand. When you offer a gift, it no longer belongs to you. Imagine holding two clenched fists, symbolizing holding onto problems, and slowly opening them before God. God, I offer you this financial worry. God, I offer you this hurt. I offer you the right to judge the one who harmed me. When you let go, that is the right sacrifice. And only when your hands are empty, because you have offered everything, can you do the second part and put your trust in the Lord. You cannot trust and worry at the same time. These two states cannot coexist. Worrying is believing in the problem. Trusting is believing in God. The act of offering sacrifice is the bridge moving you from worry to trust. You have transferred ownership of the problem to God. Now that problem is His. He is responsible for solving it. And your job? Your job is to sleep. Feel the relief spreading throughout your chest as the hot coal of anger and burden has been taken out and placed on the altar. The room of your mind is now cleared. No more emotional garbage. No more dust of resentment. The air becomes fresh and cool. Silence at this moment is no longer scary. It becomes sweet. It is a holy space to receive blessings. You have laid down, idea 1. You have been sustained, idea 2. You have cleansed your emotions, idea 3. Now you have become an empty cup, clean and ready. You are ready for God to pour into it His finest wine, joy and complete sleep. Nothing hinders anymore. Let us step together into the final moments of consciousness, where the boundary between waking and dreaming will be blurred by the gentle light of God's countenance. My dear friend, listen to the noise echoing from the world outside that window. Even though it is late at night, the rhythm of desire keeps running in the veins of humanity. We live in a world that never knows enough. Before going to sleep, we scroll through social media, seeing others' success, seeing lavish trips, parties, and an invisible question pops up in our heads, keeping us awake. Am I missing out? Is my life good enough? King David heard that noise thousands of years ago. He described the general mood of humanity in verse 6. There are many who say, "Who will show us some good?" Psalm 4:6. Who will show us some good? This is the cry of hunger. It is the cry of an insecure child, always demanding more toys, more candy before agreeing to sleep. If tonight you lie down with a hunting mode mindset, hunting for happiness, hunting for recognition, hunting for money, your brain will release dopamine. This neurotransmitter makes you excited, alert, and sleepless. Dopamine is the fuel of craving, not of rest. To sleep, you need to switch from hunting mode to enjoying mode. You need a different source of light, not the halo of fame, but the light of peace. David found that light and prayed, "Lift up the light of your face upon us, O Lord." Psalm 4-6. Visualize this image very slowly. The light of your face. It is not the blinding light of the midday sun that makes you shield your eyes. This is the gentle, warm light of a night lamp, or the light casting from a fireplace on a winter night. It is the light from the face of a father bending down to look at his sleeping child. When the father looks at the child, his face radiates love. That light dispels the darkness of loneliness. It tells you, you are seen, you are cared for, you are not invisible. Imagine that warm golden light shining into your soul right now. Wherever it goes, the coldness of anxiety melts away. It fills the empty spaces of loneliness in your heart. You do not need to run out there to search for some good anymore. The best thing is right here, shining on your face. When you have bathed in that light, David offers a beautiful comparison to redefine what true happiness is, the kind of happiness that helps you sleep well. You have put more joy in my heart than they have when their grain and wine abound. Psalm 4-7. Look at the two sides of this picture. On one side is grain and wine. This is the symbol of material wealth, of bumper harvests, of full bank accounts, of victory parties. The world out there is craving this. They think that if they have much grain and wine, they will sleep well. But the reality is often the opposite. The abundance of the rich permits him no sleep. Ecclesiastes. They worry about keeping it, worry about losing it, worry about further investment. The excitement of new wine makes the heart beat faster and nerves tense. On the other side is joy in my heart. David says, God, the joy you put in my heart tonight is greater, more joy, than even the joy of a billionaire who just won the jackpot. Why? Because their joy depends on the harvest, external circumstances. If a storm comes and the grain is lost, their joy disappears. But my joy is put in by you yourself. It lies deep in the heart, where no thief can touch, no storm can blow away. This is the state of contentment. Contentment is the strongest natural sedative. When you are content, your body releases serotonin and oxytocin hormones of relaxation and bonding. Tonight, practice this contentment. Look back at your day. Maybe you did not earn as much money as others. Grain. Maybe you did not have boisterous parties. Wine. But you have the light of his face. Tell yourself, I have a soft bed to lie on. I have enough. I have a roof to shelter from the rain and sun. I have enough. I have the breath of life. I have enough. I have God who loves me. I have abundance. The feeling of enoughness is the softest pillow. When you feel enough, you do not need to run anymore. You can stop. And stopping is the definition of sleep. Let this gentle joy spread like sweet honey, flowing through every brain cell. It does not excite you to want to dance. It makes you smile, a gentle smile on your lips when your eyes have closed. That is the smile of a person who knows they are the richest in the world, not because of what they hold in their hand, but because of the one they hold in their heart. Now, as the soul has been filled with light and joy, there is no room left for darkness or lack to intrude. You are completely ready. Your body is heavy with holy drowsiness. It is time for us to perform the final act, to turn off the last ray of consciousness and sink into the ocean of rest. Now, imagine the fire in the hearth has completely died down, leaving only a gentle warmth spreading through the quiet space. The light of the world has gone out, but the light in your soul is shining gently. You are lying in the safest room in the universe, a room built on the rock, roofed by the shadow of the almighty wings, and guarded by the one who never sleeps. Let your body make the final adjustments to fully merge into sleep. Feel the softness of the pillow, feel the warmth of the blanket, and most importantly, feel the invisible yet powerful presence of God covering you like a holy mist. We will combine King David's two most powerful affirmations into a final manifesto, a key to lock tight the door of anxiety and fling open the door of beautiful dreams. Whisper in your mind with me, I lay down and slept. In peace, I will both lie down and sleep. The word sleep here is not just a biological act. In Hebrew, the sleep of the righteous also implies total surrender. When you sleep, you return the world to God. When you sleep, you acknowledge that you are not the Savior. When you sleep, you believe that tomorrow the sun will rise without you having to pull it up. Relax your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Relax your half-closing eyes. Imagine every smallest muscle on your face melting away. Your brain waves are slowing down from beta to alpha and gradually sinking to theta. And when your consciousness begins to drift away, take this final image into your dream. Jesus is standing there right beside your bed. He is no longer the king holding a sword, nor the shepherd holding a staff. Now, he is the merciful Father watching over his young child's sleep. He places his nail-scarred hand, the hand that paid the price for all your sins and worries, gently on your forehead. He says, Father, be opened. Open the door of rest. Close the door of the world. Do not try to think anymore. Do not try to pray any more words. Your presence right now is the most beautiful prayer. Just let go, and sink. For the Lord sustained me. He is sustaining you. Right now, you are not falling into the void. You are falling into the palm of his hand, a hand softer than velvet, firmer than rock. Sleep. All debts have been paid. All mistakes have been forgiven. All burdens have been lifted. The future has been decided in goodness. I will both lie down in peace and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety. Peace be with you. Good night. Sleep tight. Amen.